Earlier this week, the New York Times published an article highlighting the impacts of crypto mining, especially here in Texas. That includes higher electricity bills and more carbon pollution. Now, groups are coming together to call for oversight on the industry. Joining us this afternoon is Jackie Sawicky, the founder of Concerned Citizens of Navarro County. Jackie, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having us and for shedding light on this very important issue.
So tell us, just how much electricity are these plants using, some of them right here in our viewing area in Central Texas, and why exactly does this operation use so much energy?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways to conceptualize how much power the Bitcoin or proof of work blockchain uses, the energy. So imagine 7 times the energy of Google, who services over 1 billion people, or also one household for 2 years could use the same amount of energy that one of these mines use in a single day. Also here in Navarro County, Riot Platforms is currently building the world's largest Bitcoin mine. It's going to be a 1 gigawatt facility. That 1 gigawatt facility will use 47 times the amount of energy of all the homes in Navarro County. So just immense amounts of power. And the reason is because of the proof of work blockchain. This is an extremely redundant, append-only ledger. What that means is every single solitary computer on the Bitcoin blockchain records every single transaction written on the blockchain. So it's extremely redundant, and it's just using millions of computers all processing the same exact data. When Bitcoin mines go down, and they're paid to get down, which I'm sure we're going to talk about that, it really doesn't affect the wider world. Whereas if like Google or Facebook or AWS go down, there's going to be billions of people who are affected. So it's just extremely redundant, and energy intensive is part of the purpose of proof of work, which is the type of blockchain that they use.
Yeah, just so many calculations every second. Now, let's talk about what you just touched on. The New York Times piece does discuss how if the Texas grid is strained, like it can be during heat waves or winter storms, ERCOT can mandate that these really power-intensive crypto mining plants shut down. But if they do that, ERCOT has to pay them. Is that right?
So there's a couple different types of ancillary services, which is what we're talking about. There is demand response, which is where they get paid to shut down. And there's also reserve response, which is just they're going to get paid regardless of if they shut down or not. It's just a promise to ERCOT that if ERCOT asks them to, they'll shut down. So Riot Platforms, participates in both programs. And in 2022, part of the reserve response program, they were only asked to shut down as part of that program for like 3.5 hours, and they still got millions of dollars in energy credits for that program.
And this is money which the New York Times reports eventually finds its way into yours and my electric bill to recoup those costs for ERCOT. Now, lawmakers in the legislature are looking to change this relationship, though, of the plants with ERCOT. Tell us about the bill that's making its way through the legislature.
Yeah, Senator Lois Kolkhorst wrote the Texas Senate Bill 1751. It's going to prohibit crypto miners from getting tax abatements. So Riot Platforms currently owns the North America's largest Bitcoin mine. They are sales tax exempt under the guise of a data center. They are property tax exempt on $200 million worth of property for 10 years. They get a sweetheart fixed rate energy deal of 2.9 cents a kilowatt hour. And then they're paid to shut down as part of the demand response. And then they turn around and they sell that power that they got at a deep discount back to the grid, sometimes at 100 times the markup that they bought it for during these times of stress. So that bill would cap how much they get paid in ancillary services to 10%, which Bitcoin miners are already over that limit right now in Texas, we found out. And it would also mandate that any of these facilities larger than a certain megawattage will have to register with ERCOT so we know where they are, who they are, and how much power they're drawing. Right now, there is a lot of question marks and a lot of unanswered questions.
Jackie, thanks so much for your perspective and for your work. I'm sure we'll check back in with you down in Navarro County as this continues.